Good morning, everybody. It's Michael here from Michael's Card Art. It's November the 23rd, and why do I remember that day? It's because it's my birthday, and there's nothing more than I like to do on my birthday than to hop up early and get myself into a place that has a very nice breakfast and a nice bubble of glasses, a nice glass of bubbles. So I'm going to pull this video together, and that's where you're going to find me for the next couple of hours. And then I've got a little shopping journey to do this afternoon, and I think that will be a very well-earned birthday gift to myself. So a question that I was asked the other day was, what sort of cards do I like to make? And do I have a favorite style? And if I was to answer correctly or honestly, I would say I do enjoy making themes. Scenes. Gosh, I'm talking like I've already had a glass of bubbles. I really do like working with scenes and working in a retro style, I suppose. Here's a couple of examples of what I'm talking about, and it'll be a nice segue into the card that we're going to make today. These are actually printed scenes from Stampin' Up, and what they started off as was scenes of a country setting. This is of the front door of a suburban home, and this is a villa in Italy. Now, I made these in the early days when I started crafting, but it's a bit like a diorama, I suppose, where you've got die cuts for foliage in the foreground, and the background is the actual image of the stamp set. They're raw. I had a lot of fun making them, but as I was making them, I also learnt a lot of techniques along the way, and those techniques are courtesy of our talented colleagues on who enjoy card craft themselves. I'm a bit like a sponge. I see something and I like to, and if I see that I can use it in my own design, then I'll certainly gravitate to learning that new technique. Here's a couple done with watercolor paper, where the DSP is the star of the show, and what I've done is I've just die cut a few bits of foliage where the color is represented within the scene itself, and then I've stamped the actual top card, giving it a bit of a retro feel, if you like. So there's a couple there, and here's a couple of watercolor ones. Look, lots of fun stamping the actual scene using a watercolor stamp, and I'll show you what I mean by a watercolor stamp in a moment. And then just putting a postcard image to reflect that old gone by era of where people used to send postcards on all their travels. Here's a couple more with the watercolor scene, and here's one, a lighthouse. I put a seagull in the foreground just to tie the image together, postcard and a stamp. I really enjoyed doing this little series. This one is the Hills of Tuscany, and these are all Stampin' Up stamps that have all been retired. Here's another one with maybe one of the lakes in Italy. You've got the Italian villa in the foreground. That's been set with dimensionals. Stamped the background and a little bit of foliage with the postcard and the stamp. Well, here's the same setting, really. Well, not the same setting, but the same villa, if you like. This one's done somewhere in Tuscany, I suppose. And here's one where it's been set on the ocean or on a lake somewhere. A sailing ship, reeds, rocks in the foreground, and some images of water and the sky. And here's another one set up in the high mountains somewhere. Has a bit of an Asian feel, I suppose. The high mountains of China. Sky, the mountains, foliage, and some die cuts in the foreground. And here's something a little different from all of that. Where is it? Here's a die cut, if you like, still on water paper. The die cuts, I've embossed the background with some reeds and grasses. I've got die cuts in the foreground, and then I've got the cutout. So it has a bit of a diorama 3 3 layers effect, and then I've stamped that and given it a bit of a retro feel. And 2 more, oh no, there's 3 more. I try not to bore you too much. This one here is a hot air balloon. The fence was here, but it's now gone missing. Some clouds, and for the balloon I've covered that in flowers, and some of them have been gold embossed, some trees. So here's a balloon of flowers flying higher aloft, some trees. And another scene, very different in its period, I suppose, is a child with a dog flying a kite. In the background, open window, and in the foreground you've got a vase with a stamped flower. All very simple, but I think in some ways quite effective. And here's one, watercolor paper. I think it's yes it is. I found an old image in a scrapbook when my grandmother passed on. She collected postcards, and so I've used these postcards in some of my designs. So where I've taken an image and I've tried to replicate the colors somewhat and use those images as a die cut, and I've stitched around the edges here. Well, I haven't actually stitched. That's a Stampin' Up stamp itself, just to give you that sort of old retro, add to the retro feel. And the last one I will, second last one, here's one, another image from a postcard, die cuts in the foreground, stitched, and I've, like with these other ones, to give a retro feel, I've embossed, I've burnished the edges. My little office manager, Zorro, has come to the party just to say hello. You're only going to see his little head, I think. Anyway, so there's Zorro. He's come to say happy birthday. And I've got this one here is another one. It's a retired set, but here we've got the image of Dutch windmill, some tulips in the foreground. Here's some tulips here as a die cut, and the DSP itself gives you that old retro feel. Now I'm going to show you the very last card in this sort of scene series, if you like. This is an example of the card that got me into card craft. It wasn't the first card I ever made, but it was the it was something like this that I saw this lady doing on YouTube that fascinated me no end. She was doing a card that had this sort of a scene. There was a background of foliage, dense foliage, and she had a doorway, and what she wanted to do was she wanted to apply crackle paint to the doorway. And I just thought she was absolutely bonkers, but I was hooked. So I sat there for the few minutes that it took for this crackle paint to do its magic, and before my eyes, and I'll just hold this up a little bit higher, and before my eyes the crackle paint started crackling, and I was hooked. So much so that that was my first, well, that was what triggered me into card craft. And one of the first cards that I ever tried to make was this one, replicating what I'd seen on the screen of YouTube. So I'm hanging on to this one, A, because it's falling apart, but B, because it's of the story behind it. So that's that. So let me just clear the deck of those, and let me just go back and just illustrate or let you know what I mean by these watercolor print sets. So here's one, also retired, but from these you can make, basically they're just photopolymer stamps. You're basically stamping the image and placing it onto, positioning it onto your card, and it has this nice watercolor effect in it. Let me just show you the two that I was as examples. Here you get, that's this one here. These two here are from this set, and it just has that really nice watercolor, soft watercolor finish to them. But the ones we're going to play with today, Your Path Awaits. This is a retired set, and I don't know where my assistant Zorro has put the case for this one, but these two are from Stampin' Up, and they are, this is the Hills of Tuscany and Your Path Awaits. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to create a scene. The scene is not going to reveal itself like this straight away, but I'm going to use some liliums. I'm going to use this scene on the inside of the card, and I'm going to use the Hills of Tuscany stamp set on the outside of the card, and mix it with some dies to create a birthday card for a very dear friend that I've met through Cardcraft, actually. Now, one of the things that I am going to do going forward in the new year, I'm going to create or have available for you the recipe for these, the cards that I put onto YouTube. It's all part of the new look for Michael's card art. Because to date, I've, oh, excuse me, we have got what appears to be very hot weather coming through, 36, 37 the last couple of days. And strong winds, and those strong winds are whipping up lots of pollen. In Melbourne, in Australia, we have Melbourne is probably one of the greenest cities I've ever lived in, and for me it's my favourite city in all of Australia. But whilst the city is a very green city, we have lots of plane trees, and these plane trees create havoc for us. And the suburb that I live in is arbored. The streets are arbored with these plane trees, green and lush in the summertime. But when the wind blows like it does today, we're all running around with oxygen tanks and oxygen masks. So please forgive me if I sound a bit throaty. I will stop the video if I need to unchoke myself. So what I'm going to do with today's scene is I'm going to try and use these little die cuts. This is part of the set or something that I've inherited from some of my friends. They go online and they say, oh, that's something Michael might use, or they go rabbiting through their deceased estates, if you like, and Michael will use that. And so I get all of these ad hoc sets, but I never say no to die cuts that have got florals on them, simply because I'll always find a place for them. And so it is with today. So these, we call these, I think we call them arum lilies here in Australia. And I've heard that people call them the death lily, and they've got lots of different names. However, I have seen people getting married with these. A very good friend, a couple of friends of mine, they got married, and the wife was carrying white ones of these. And so I want to use these in conjunction with the watercolor sets that I just spoke about, Your Path Awaits, and the Hills of Tuscany. So there is a bit of an Italian theme to today's card. It's going to be a bit of a fun fold. And what I've done, I've taken the liberty to pull all the elements, or cut all the elements. And look, there are a number of elements, and these have all been cut, and I'll have measurements for these in the PDF as we go forward. But it's Zorro's little paw print. So it'll be a fun fold that sort of goes like this. I've got these as the front pieces, and so when you open it, it'll be like so, and you will see the Hills of Tuscany on the foreground, and when you open it up, you'll see the picture of a villa. And what I'm going to do, as you open the card up, I'm going to have a bunch of these lilies on this side in a display, so that it looks like you, when it all comes together, here's the card, you're driving through the Hills of Tuscany, you open up, you're now at the villa itself, and you see on the wall of the villa a bunch of flowers. That's how my mind works, unfortunately. But let's see how we go. As I said, there are a number of elements here, but it will all come together at the end. And so stay tuned for the journey. and we'll get started. So the first thing we're going to do is colour the foliage that's going to appear on the front of the card and also on the inside of the card. And I'm going to use a pink, and that pink I might use will be this sort of a colour. And I'm just checking to see if this pink will clash with this pink. This is a petal pink, this one here. Actually, I think what I should do is I might use a Calypso Coral. That's probably more attuned to that pink there. Or a Blushing Bride. Let me think. No, I think I'm going to use this one. It's got more red in it, and I think that will work better. Oh, to have so many pinks. Yes, I think the Calypso Coral. Okay. Yes, okay. That's decided, I think, sort of. Yes, okay. All right, here we go. Are you sure, Michael? Yes, I'm sure. Oh, Calypso Coral. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Now, for those of you who've been around a while, you will know how I like to colour. And what I'm going to do, because these are such a delicate little thing, let's apply some colour. Now, in this case, I'm putting the richness of the colour in the background of the lily. And what I think I might do is for this crease here, I'm going to emboss that. I don't know with what yet. Will I make it gold? Possibly. As we pick these little things up, very delicate. Okay, so the background is where the bulk of the colour will sit. Now, look, you can colour these in any way, using any format that you prefer. My colouring tool of choice is a dauber. I just feel I can control the colour better. And what I will do to give a lightness of colour in the foreground, I will change the dauber and or I might just use the remnants of the ink that's on here to apply a softer tone to our lilies. One thing I am going to do today is go down and purchase a camera stand for my light, and I'm going to which will enable me to talk to you directly rather than when I make a video you're just seeing my hands. So there'll be no more crafting or creating videos in my dressing gown. I'm not in my dressing gown at the moment. It's very hot. It's too hot for my dressing gown. And so someone said, Michael, you need to put a face to your videos. And so what I thought to myself was, yes, that's probably correct. But I am going to wait until after I recover from my surgery, because I don't want to scare everybody. Not that I've had plastic surgery, by the way. I've never really thought about plastic surgery. And I have seen some excellent results of plastic surgery. I've unfortunately, for the person involved, I've seen some surgery that's gone awry. Look, I certainly I'm an advocate for aging gracefully, but I'm one of those people who, whilst I might age gracefully, I will hang on to every vestige of youth that I can find. I don't know whether that's good or bad. Somebody said, Michael, you're going to be the oldest teenager in town. Well, I put it down to the fact that it's all in the body, all in the mind. Okay, now I had a dauber, and where is it? I'm just going to get some paper and remove some of that ink now. I haven't cleaned my glass mat, but all right, I'm just going to try one of these and just see what looks best. And as you can see, trial and error for a lot of this. The stems are going to be green. Okay, so that's the sort of thing I want there. So you've got just a little bit of a hint of colour in the foreground, and the bulk of the colour is in the background. So see how this goes. These are very fine stems, actually. Okay, there you go, just a kiss of colour. And these, the stamens, if my memory serves me correctly, the stamens on these plants, on liliums, are, I think, yellow. Well, in this case, they're going to be yellow. So I'll come back and I'll do that. There, just a hint of colour. I'll do that with an alcohol marker. All right, that's looking good. Here we go. Now, I have made a version of this card in the past. And the recipient of this birthday card is a very dear friend who I've met at, I think it's called Onstage, where Stampin' Up! Onstage, where they have these locations around the world every year, and Stampin' Up! Provide an opportunity or a vehicle as the launch of their new catalogue, and an opportunity to see new techniques at play, and generally a good old get-together for those people that you've met and engaged with throughout the year. So let's just hold these up and see what, well, first of all, I'll put the stem. I'm going to do the stems as a green, and possibly I think I like the Mossy Meadow. Mossy Meadow is a green, obviously. However, it has a, well, I'm going to call it an earthy tone to it. And you're probably thinking, what the hell does he mean by that? An earthy tone is, it's when you colour it, or when you apply it next to other greens, you'll see what I mean. Now, I want that to be a bit of a jagged effect up there on this, meeting the stem. And here we go. A bit like that. There we go. If I was a kind person, I probably wouldn't make you sit here and watch me colour all of these, but given it's my birthday today, I'm going to make it all about me. All right, and just colour down there like that. That's right. Okay, that's all coming together nicely. And for those people who may be watching this and who've never done card craft before, let me tell you, it's one of the most cathartic things to do. I get so engrossed in it, and when you've got a stash that's out of control, a little like mine, I'm always thinking about the next project, even when I'm making this one. And I think I mentioned this once before, but if you didn't catch it then, it'll be new information for you. And if you did catch it, let's pretend you haven't heard it. But my bank manager rang me one day and said, "What's all this stuff you're buying?" from to do with this paper and dyes and stamps and all that sort of stuff. What are you doing? Oh, I said, oh, it's an art form. He said, an art form at those prices, one of the dark arts, I think. And I had a bit of a chuckle to myself, but I get together with my bank manager every now and then, and he thinks I'm one of the I'm from the coven of dark arts. Okay, I think that looks good. Well, so what I'll do is I'll come to the leaves in a moment, and I'll do the stamens now. Yeah, so as I was saying before, I have made a version of this card, and a very dear friend saw it and commented, and she said, oh, I'd frame that. And I thought, oh, it's very kind of you. And I decided that I would make a new version of it for her birthday. Now, I'm just erring here on the side of caution because I don't know whether I've got the right... Yes, I think it's more of a Mango Melody stamen that I need. All right. It's only going to be just a touch of colour, but let's just... Oh, wrong end. So I'm just using a marker here, and I'm going to colour that. Okay, that's good. So just a little bit of colour here to highlight the stamen. I've got sticky fingers today. There you go. Just a highlight of colour, like so. And so she doesn't know it, but this is the card that I'm making for her birthday in the new year. So if she's watching this video, I don't know if she watches my videos, but if she is watching it, she may or may not know for sure that I'm talking about her. So there we go. I think they're looking good. All right. Okay, and so this area here, what I'm going to do, I might bronze those with... That might be a little garish, but let's just see how we go. And I've got a Versamark pen here somewhere that allows me to do just such things. Put that colour away. Another thing that's happening in the new year, I'm going to be try to be a less messy crafter, and put things away as I go. Oh, here it is. That way I don't lose anything throughout the creating process. So this is a Versamark pen. I found this online, and it just allows you to do these sort of things. Let's just do two of them and see how it goes first. Now, you know how you're supposed to use your how you're supposed to use your buddy, which is the here it is, this little thing. When you're embossing, your embossing buddy, just to make sure you don't capture too much embossing powder. There we go. Will that add value? Let's just see. Let me just heat this up. I don't know whether that's adding any value to our little image, but something that just popped in my head is, let's get some clear embossing powder. Here we go. Is this the white or the clear? Oh, this is clear. Great. I think this is what we need to do. Let's put that away. So what I'm going to do, I'll use that one, but I'll hide it down the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Versamark ink on here. No, this is what I'm going to do first. I'm going to, is that Calypso? Yes, it is. Fine. All right. I'm going to just very gently, not too thick. I'll just do one to show you. So I've coloured it with Calypso, and I'm going to go over it with the Versamark, and then I'm going to dip it in clear powder. Oops. And that looks good. And then I'm going to heat set it. And once it's heat set, then I'm going to shape it. Now let's have a look and see if all of that effort has paid off in any way, shape or form. I've just shaped it, but I think what I need to do is I need to, there, that's it. I need a very fine handled paintbrush. For some reason I can't find one. This might do it. Okay, so that goes forward and that goes back. So you've got that. Does that add any value? No. So what I'm going to do, I'll still apply the colour very gently, just like so. But I won't worry about embossing it. There we go. Because the embossing is not really adding anything to the overall effect. And this little bit of highlight is really what I was after in the first place. All right. Let's get these. Oh. Like so. There we go. Like so. There we go. And these two here. Okay. A lot of fiddling, but I think it's achieved the desired effect. All right. He says, going back to look at the embossing. Let's just shape that with a bit of foam. Now, when I'm shaping, I'm just doing this. There we go. Just like that. I've just got to quickly let the dogs out. Okay. And turn the fan on. All right. All right. So I've just shaped these, turning them upside down, and curving them with the just by a gentle rolling motion there. And look, it's subtle. Now you may also get the same effect with less effort using your bone folder. Now, because of the way this one is got that little split there, I'm going to bring that to the fore and that to the back to give you that effect. It just gives it a bit more dimension. With these ones, gosh, they're very fine. I think one of the joys of getting a new stamp set is the things that you think you can do with it, or imagining the things you can do with it. Just got to be careful that that doesn't rub off onto the image too much, onto the element. There we go. All right. Now, I don't think I'll do too many more of those on camera because you may just feel, Michael, that's enough. Actually, this is the approach that I should have taken before. There we go. It pushes it open straight away. Here's another one. There we go. It's pushing that into those creases. And look at that. You've got that bit of curvature straight away. And just... All right, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to colour the leaves, and I will then start to bring the elements together on the actual card itself so that you can see more clearly what the end result is going to look like. Okay, I think these are coming up well. And in fact, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to release a schedule of those videos that I've got coming up, so that you have an insight into what I'm going to be doing, but also if I release a schedule, then I'm held to the making sure that schedule, those things do happen and I don't get distracted. All right, now I'll just show you how I colour the leaves for our I lost my dauber's lost its foam. One of the best things I ever did was to cry out that I just don't know how to wash my daubers. Well, a very, very kind viewer solved my problems that very day by telling me to put them into a washing bag and throwing them in the washing machine. So what we might do is hide a lot of that one. Anyway, so there's our lilies, and what I mean is this. And here's a batch that is about to go off to the wash. I throw everything in there, and that goes down to the wash. And the washing lady kindly takes it out of the washing machine, quickly dries it in the sun for an hour or two. That's washing lady being myself, and puts it back ready for the next day. So what I'm going to use Old Olive and a bit of Mossy Meadow. And you can see what I mean by the earthy colour, shade or tone of this green. So Old Olive for the stems, like so. I used a marker for those stems, but let me just show you. There we go, Old Olive for the stems. And what I love about using a dauber to colour is that unevenness that you get in colour. Now, that's my preference. I just love seeing that come to life. And look, it's horses for courses, whatever you prefer. And that's just now, okay, so that's the stems. There we go. And what I'm going to do here now is, there we go. And I love giving the plant texture, or I like the way the dauber gives the plant texture, simply by its nature, I suppose. But, so what we've done, we're colouring the outside, like so, and with this one, in actual fact, that's where the light is going to hit it, so that's where the darker colour should be, or the lighter colour should be. So let me just go and see what this looks like. Okay, here we go. So the richness, I'll use the darker colour on the outside. That's better. That's better. And then, that's good. And then the lighter colour, the Old Olive, in the center, just color it like so, and you can see the sun is hitting it there. I'll get these stems a darker color. In fact, what I'll do is I'll do these stems as well, the darker green, and look at that, beautiful. All right, there we go. So these, on the front, these stems are going to be wrapped in a bow, but on the inside of the card, they're going to be in a pot or an urn, and they're going to be on a shelf. That's my thinking at the moment. Okay, I think that's them. All right, see that nice rich green there. All right, now, so mossy meadow on the edges of the leaves. Don't be too kind to them. They, and as I'm colouring them, you can see the beating that I'm giving them is is shaping it as well. Unfortunately, I'm going to turn up for my breakfast with friends with inky fingers. There we go. All right, that's great. Nice rich green, and last two. There we go. All right. And beautiful. All right. I like a few more bits of foliage, so when I have a break in proceedings, what I might do is cut out a few more of the foliage, just so that, now let me just move that out of the way. Clean off that so I don't impart too much. Okay. And I'm just going to see if this alcohol wash doesn't, that's not bad. Okay, just give my hands a bit of a squirt on that. Now I don't know whether that's good for your hands or not, the alcohol, but it makes it more presentable. All right, let's get rid of those. I'm going to, just so you've got a better view of what I'm banging on about. Okay. All right. And so, just so that you can see the fruits of labour. It will be something like this. There we go. Okay, so a couple of bunches. I'll fiddle with those off air, but I think you're getting a good indication as to where I'm going with this. Now, Stampin' Up! Don't have, to the best of my knowledge, don't have these sort of, or haven't released these sort of stamps, dies, I should say, for us to even go back and have a look at retired sets. But if they did, I'd be onto them quickly. All right, so that's the sort of thing there, and that's how they might look. So I might get another couple of leaves there. 2 dies, one in a pot and one in a bow. Now, what I've done is I cut some extra, I've cut some extra leaves for our 2 bunches of lilies, and I've coloured those up, so that can go to the side. Let me just introduce another element into the mix. So there will always be stamp sets that I come across where the elements, and not all of them, but some of them are invaluable. And this is one of them, Welcoming Windows. Now, Welcoming Windows is another retired set. I seem to be the collector of retired sets of Stampin' Up sets. However, there are pieces in here that are just invaluable. These stamps for the window, the various pots, and the brickwork. And there are some dies that I can't live without as well. And those dies are here. Why is that misbehaving? The shelf, the window, the pots, the milk jug, the vase. There are so many things about this set that I just love. And I've got some sad news for myself. I've misplaced the brickwork stamp set. I don't know where that is. I'm going to have to troll through, perish the thought, 200 odd stamp sets to find it. However, there'll be much wailing and gnashing of teeth if I don't find it, because I use this a lot. But anyway, this is another set, one of those sets that I just can't live without, and I use it on many of my projects. And so it is, I've taken the liberty in that downtime to prepare our urn or our pot for our card, and the shelf that the pot will sit upon, like so. And the brickwork would sit under there when I find it. And this stamp here, the window will be up here, and the lilies will sit in that pot in the backdrop of the window. So let's prepare that part of it first. But before I do that, I want to show you just, I think it's probably the last element. I came across this a long time ago. Now, it's just a little field of wheat. It's an embossing folder with a field of wheat, or grasses, if you like. Now, this could be anywhere, but now it's going to find itself in Italy, or be in a setting for Italy. So I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, but I'm going to do this. Just making sure I've got the right ones. Yes. So these are 2 pieces that are going to be on the front panel, or act as panels, so that when you open said card, for example, these will sit like that on either side, and what I want to do is I want to create a grass scene, or emboss a grass scene for it, but I do want to put a little bit of color into it. And I'm just thinking, this is the top, this is the front piece, so I need to color here. Now, the best way to color, or to achieve what I'm wanting to, I think, is this. Let's keep our fingers, toes, and legs crossed that it works. All right, so I'm gently going to apply some color like this. Okay, so just sparingly. You don't want to cover the whole thing. You just want to highlight the grasses where your elements are going to sit. And let's just give that all a bit of a splash of color. All right. Now, if I place these, so that's the front, okay? So if I place these, like that, and like that. All right, they're the same size, I hope so. All right, and the sound of the Australian outback. There's a blowfly that's just come into the house somehow. And that's the most annoying sound of all the Australian wildlife, as a blowfly. All right, so let's say it's like that. Can you hear that? when I grew up in the bush, crows, galahs, kookaburras, and blowflies. Memories of one's childhood. Okay, let me put this through the embossing folder and see how it works out. All right. See how that looks. Look, I don't mind that. However, what are those little spots there? I'm going to have to pause the video and do something with that fly. Just bear with me a moment. Well, before I do that, let's just have a look at this. Let's get a clean brush and see if I can't take any of that away. Oh, yes, okay. Okay, that's good. Actually, that's great. Now, we're not going... Yes, oh, perfect, all right. A little squeal of excitement. So, that's not too shabby. And I think... Oh, I like that. Okay. Let's see if I can dampen some of that colour down. That's good. That's good. And you know what? That could be the sunset over here. Shall I tempt fate? I'll just rub some of this off. Now, one thing that I do like to do when I'm using embossing folders is this. I like to give it a sweep of colour in one direction. And the reason I go in one direction is because I blindly think that I'm creating a shadow on one side of the image. Let's just see if I'm just kidding myself or whether something is really happening here. And I like, look, I think I'm probably just kidding myself, but what I do like about this is how there is more colour here and less here, and it does look like the sun is playing a part on this. All right, let's leave that alone in case I wreck it in any way, shape or form. I'm just going to remove some of that. Okay. All right, that's done. Let that just dry for a sec. And so our elements. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'll just put all these aside. There we go. And I'm going to bring out the front parts of the card. And where are they? Here we go. Now, you do need to have clean hands for this. So I'm just going to give these a bit of a burst. Now, what we're doing here is we're creating the said view of our front of the card. And we're going to use the Hills of Tuscany to do that. So, hands clean. Okay, let's bring that aside. Now, this will be the front of the card here. It's not a lot of real estate to play with, and however, okay, so this is what it will look like here. Okay, and that's on the inside. All right, so we've got that, we're now going to apply, create our scene, and I need, where are the stamp sets? Okay. Okay, so let's just get these into the system. Just as a bit of a guide to see how these are going to sit. So I've got this. I've got the clouds. I've got clouds will sit up there a little bit. I've got the poplars here, and like so, and let me just have a look. And then I've got the villa. Okay, and now I'll have to go there. And I've got how does this go? And there's the roof. I think it goes something like that. Okay, it'll come down a bit, and the lilies will be tied in a bow, and they will sit something like this here. All right, that's the front piece, and then that'll sit under. Okay, so let me stamp that off. All right, and we're only going to use one color for this. It's going to be the Calypso Coral. Yes, okay. All right. So let's get our sky in first to see how much real estate we've got left. Okay. All right, let's bring that up quite high. And there we go. Just apply that. Beautiful. So there's our sky. Wipe off the excess. All right. Now, bring in. Now we're going to do it like that, and I'll show you the reason behind that. All right, let's ink that up. Now, you're starting to see what I mean about what we call these watercolor sets. So I'll do that. So there's that. Okay. Wipe off that. And I've got another piece of foliage somewhere that allows me to, okay, hills and dales, if you like. Now, don't need that. What's that? What's that? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just mumbling to myself here because I'm just looking to see what all these little elements are, reminding myself. Now, let's stamp that one. And here we've got a little crossover fold. So you might see that coming like that. Okay. All right, that's good. And there's a halo. Well, let's get rid of that. And there's one thing to always be conscious of. Do I want those or do I want the big ones? No, we'll go with these. Let's go with these, and we'll put those there, like so. Okay, so their scene is coming together. The house will go, or the villa will go here. Okay. All right, so let's put the villa there. I kind of want to be able to see these elements so that, here we go. A nice little halo there. And it doesn't matter if these cross over a little bit. The important thing is that, okay, there's the villa. Now let's put the roof on the villa, and it will go like so. Very gently. There it is. And that's it there. Okay. Oh, fantastic. Just the way I wanted it. All right. What else? Now we do need to put a little bit more into the sky. Let's get, what is that? That's a little bit more cloud, and we've got our sun, and we've got, now, are they clouds or are they hedges? I think they're hedges. I think that's cloud. All right, let's just get that bit of cloud in there and put that over here. All right, put that there. Okay, good. That's probably hedges, truth be known, but that's all right. Let's get the sun, put that in there. And now, the thing I like about creating scenes like this is there's the sky's the limit with what you can do and what you can achieve. There we go. There's the sun with our bent hedge tops. And let's, there's not much more that needs to go in there. And we need to be able to position these little fellas now in this sort of a manner, because they're going to be tied together in a bow and will sit, will sit like this. I'll just give you a bit of an overview there. Right. Okay. There's always one recalcitrant element. Now we've got some green going there, some foliage, and there we go. It will look exactly like that, I think. And what I need to do here, I've got with this set, where is it? Here we go. And I'll put some more poplars there. Okay, and there it is. It goes around here. All right, and they will go down there like that. Okay, there we go. Something on that. The good thing with photopolymer stamps is if there is something on the stamp, after you've stamped it, you can check to see what that is and make an adjustment. Fabulous. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, and I won't bore you with this part, I'm going to shape these and get those onto the card. So let me do that and I'll come back to you. Actually, I'm back and I'm thinking what I might do is I'll show you what, how I apply these. I'm using dimensionals and I'm attaching the dimensionals to the back of the main part of real estate of all elements that will make up this bunch. And the dimensionals will effectively be the main, now I'm shaping these leaves a bit, will be the main adhesive that we use. And so it's really just like that. And what I've neglected to do is to shape these little elements. So let's just work around the dimensionals and get some shape into that. There we go. and this last one here. There we go. All right. Now, park those for a moment, but grabbing the dimensionals and okay, so that will go there. So you may recall we've shaped those in some way, shape or form, because you know that I like height and texture. And see, I can't do what I see other colleagues do, where you put it on and then they pierce it and it just pops off. That never happens in my world. I'm obviously doing something wrong, holding my mouth incorrectly or something. Okay, so here we go. That's that. And we won't need to worry about gluing the stem because it's most frustrating. Gluing the stems of the lilies, because they will be attached with, or secured I should say, with a what do you call it, a piece of, there we go, a piece of bow. Right, now I'll just show you how I tend to position these. I want to be able to see, if I can, maybe just a little bit too high. I may just see. No, let's just keep that height there. I'm just erring deep in thought, because I want to, I'm just seeing if I need to. Why is that one not sticking? Maybe there's a backing on there. Oh no. Yeah. All right. Things are starting to happen. All right. I've got two more. And if you find that you don't have enough lilies for the front, I'm going to put another one under there. It looks as though it could become problematic later on. Sometimes I feel like a heart surgeon. Oh, dear, oh dear. Now I've got a dog hair. Alright, now that should secure it. Let's just put that aside there. At a different height though. Okay. And one more. And there it goes there. Spectacular. All right, and now our leaves, or bits of foliage. And oh, fantastic. Look at that. Now, I probably could have gotten away with doing a lighter color on the front of the image, but you know what? Let's be bold and make a statement. So where are the pieces? All right, so I'll give you a bit of a snippet as to where and how this is all coming together. And now my insides, that's the inside panels. Here we go. So this gives you an insight to my thinking. So we've got like that. And that sits on that, like that. And then you've got like that, that. Oh, have to do something with that. And then you've got this. And that starts to become the gateway. Now there's a ribbon bow there. It opens like so. And then we'll start to see Zorro's little paw there. Zorro seems to have had his little paws on a lot of elements. Now, is that in the right perspective? Yes, it is. Okay. It's looking good. All right, let me get those glued on and I'll come back to you. Now, what I've done, after I've placed the florals on there and the leaves and the bow, I felt the background was a little too red and a little similar to in color to here. So what I've done is I've toned that down a little bit. And can you see how I've done that? I've placed a piece of vellum over the top of the background here, and that's provided, it's toned down the color, allowing this to come to the fore even more. So yeah, so consider that when you have a situation where color is too strong or it needs to be toned down a little bit, grab a piece of vellum. I'm just looking to see, I've got a card here that I did exactly that too. Let me just see if I can find that for you. No, look, I couldn't find that card, but needless to say, vellum is a very good way of toning down the color if you need to do that. Now, what we're going to do is move on to the creating the scene within the, so we've arrived, we can see the villa in the distance. We're now going to pull up at the villa. So to do that, I'm just bringing the pieces out. It's going to look a little like this in my mind. So you've got, there's the villa, snug up front. We don't have a lot of real estate to play with here, but there's will be plenty once we get ourselves sorted. Okay, so we've got that there. I think that's good, yes. Okay, there's the lawn. We've got our windows cove through there, and I need some cloud. So what have I got there for cloud? Don't think we need that. What I might do is I might steal some trees from our friends over here. Okay, some trees could go there, and what have I got there? I'm just wondering. Oh, I've got it on the wrong piece, silly sausage. It's got to go on this piece. I wonder why I was so cramped for space. Okay, so it's going to go here. So there's our villa. There is our driveway, or the stones. We've got our bit of lawn, like so. There we go. Now I've got trees in the distance. What I do need, some clouds in the sky. Trees, and I'll steal the clouds from our previous adventure, and they'll sit up here like so, like this. Although, do I want to have, let's do this, hedges, clouds, clouds. Oh, now look at that, trap for new players. You can see there how the ink has not been washed off sufficiently. Okay, all right, so that's going to change the dynamics a little bit. Okay, let's come back and do that. Okay, move that out of this. You really do need to make sure that you wash your inks, ink stamps very well, especially when you... I'm going to turn that over. There we go. Right. That's a new piece now. All right, let's get some clouds in the sky. And I'll do that first with our... And we may need to do this a similar thing to what we did before, where we tone that down with some vellum. But let's just see how we go first. So I've got the clouds. All right. Let's see how much room I've got here. Okay, so let's get those on first. Okay, there's some clouds there. Just clean that up. And what I'm going to do is just to create a level of difference. Some ink onto that, and we'll go in here like so. All right, so that looks like a cloud-filled sky. There we go. Now, the next thing is let's get our villa into place. Right. There we go. All right. Okay, now we're putting on some arches or some doors and some windows, and this has been very well designed, I have to say, this stamp set. So this is the first one was called Tuscan Hills, and this is Your Path Awaits. Okay, so let's just line that up. There we go. Oh, very nice. Okay, that's great. It's coming on very well. Okay, now what we've got, see if this works. Yes. Okay. And there's a slight gap between the bricks and the pavers, and in it goes. Oh, beautiful. Yep, very good. Now, I still think I prefer those poplars than the other ones. So I'm just going to give that some ink, and that will go about here. There we go. Fantastic. All right. Now, I don't think that's a cloud. I think that's more of a hedge. What have we got here? Oh, we do. Oh, where's the lawn? I'll put some greenery down. And I think that goes like so. Yes. All right. So let's get that in there. Being careful not to create halo effects and all that sort of stuff. There we go. Don't worry about that. We'll have that fixed in a jiff, because that there will have a tree. Sort of. No, it won't. We'll work something out there. I've got a water fountain here. Let's see what that looks like. I wonder what that is. If anyone knows what that shape is for, please share. It's something that goes there, I think. It seems to fit that profile there, but I don't know what there would be. I don't know. All right, so if I put the water fountain there, I'm just going to test that and see what it looks like when it's stamped. Let me just see how that goes. If I do that, and if I was to do that on top, what will that look like? Or do I put that there? Actually, I'm going to do it over to the left. It's just over here to the left. Because what we need there, that's better. Okay, that's good. And what's a fountain without a bit of running water? And that is here. Now, this is all monotonal, but it just adds to the... There we go. Just need to see what that looks like there. It's coming out of there and running down to there. There we go. All right. There's our driveway, if you like. Now, what's a little bit of a villa without... Now, let's see what these trees look like in the distance. We may even have some grass verge here. No, let's not overbake it. Where are these trees supposed to go? Are they going here? Maybe they're going on either side of those. Would that look nice? I don't know. I could sweep around there, or it... No, let's just leave that for another day. I do want to get a tree. No. All right. I think we've expended our luck there. The sun. I want the sun and maybe another cloud somewhere. All right, so let's get that going. And there we go. Now, let's put the sun here. All right. And is that a cloud? I think it is. Let's see what it looks like when it's stamped. Yes, well, even if it's not a cloud, it's going to... there we go. All right. Don't push your luck, Michael. All right, here we go. Now, we'll go there, under there, and that goes there. So, and that is on the back of that one. Okay. So let's just place that there for the start. It's got to have its matte, but one more bit of stamping that we do need to do, and it's here. And let me show you what that looks like. All right, so these are our side panels. This is the one on the right. Okay, so let's stamp that through, and that's going to be looking like this. All right, so we need a window frame, like so, and the window frame is going to have some brickwork under here, and the brickwork, I cannot find it. So let's move on from that for a moment. Because the weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth has not produced. Oh, that's great. Look at that. And here is our urn for our flowers. This will come down somewhat. The urn will go here, and then our plants and that will go there. Right. Okay, so let's get that stamped. All right, so I need to get these washed. Okay. All right, here's our window frame. Now, I can't see that unless I put my beak in the road, and then I don't know whether that's old age or whether that's just bad positioning. Okay, there's our window. A little higher than I thought. However, we've got our shelf to go in there. Now that needs to go in, and it's going to go in with some dimensionals. And they happen to be here. Okay, I'm just going to put all of that there for washing. Right, dimensionals, what should I do with them? Here they are. And I need, oops, sorry, I bumped everything. Okay, let's get a couple here on the back of the shelf. That needs a little more colour on it, I think. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. Now, what's the height of these? Let's just have a quick look. What we might do is move that down just a fraction more. Perfect. Okay, so dimensionals on the back of those. And this one here. There we go. Nicely secured. We've got the pot there. Dimensional on either side of that to keep it robust and round. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, That's it. Right, and these, now wait there, let me just see this, that's got to go down, and just need a small amount of glue there. Just to hold that into place. Okay. Okay, I think that should be just about right. Now, let's get our friends into place. More dimensionals. Okay. So 1, 2. Oh, they're the bane of my life, these little things. Okay. So 1. 2. 3. And right in there. How many more of these have I got? 1, 2 more. 1, 2. All right. And we'll just need to take off the end here. There we go. All right. And then we'll throw in our foliage. And there we go. Actually, I might need to pull some of that length off those legs. And there we go. Oops, come back. There we go, there's one. Just probably take that away. Now, just need to make sure there's folding room and there's not. There we go. And the last one goes here. here, and this one comes in here. There we go. Down low. Okay, there was. Here we go. That's what it looks like there. So now to attach the panels, I've still got to put the brickwork in here, and I've still got to work out how I'm going to do that because I don't have the pieces that I wanted. The brickwork now. It's going to take me a little while to find a replacement, I think. But let's not worry about that just yet. Okay, I think that's looking great. All right, that will go there. And voila. There we go. Very good. All right. Now on the other side, what I want, oh, that's the front. What I want to do on that side there is I want to put a sentiment on this one. So let's get that in there first. Move that out of the road. Let's put that down there. There we go. And now, what sentiment can I use there? It's a happy birthday. Well, first of all, let's just have a look and see what's on the thing. Here it is. Let's use this one. Sending sunshine for a beautiful birthday. Okay, let's get that on there. And that will give us plenty of room to write around it. Here we go. And that can now glow and be attached. Like so. There we go. All right, now I've just got to do the centerpiece, and I just need to go and find that brickwork. I'll just go and grab that now. Guess what? I found the stamp of bricks, so that's good news. I was sitting in another stamp set. So I'm just going to put the brickwork down there, and it will go like this. Here we go. Okay. Looking good. All right. So now you can see where I'm going with this, I think, I hope. Right, let's get these outer panels on. So what I'll do, first of all, I'll attach these. I'm just going to stand up for this. My back's a bit sore. That's right. So that can go there. Is that right? Yes. Okay. That's it. There we go. Now, this will go there. Oh, that irks me no end. I just need to remove something, and I just needed to remove that little bit of blue that was at the top there. Now I'm going to have to remove it from the other one, and the other one is where? Oh, it's on the floor. Okay, let me just... I'll take off the smallest shave. Yeah, just... There we go. Okay. All right. We're on the home stretch now. There we go. And there. Okay. Okay. And this one will go on here. All right. Now they will get attached there. And it really is here we go. And that one there. Okay. Now, I do need to place before I put this on the front, I need to put this on the back. Now what will go there though, because this is going to be seen like that. So I never thought about that. I knew I needed something on the back. Put something on the back there, and that's on the front. Or do I just leave it like that? So the card looks like that. It opens up, and you see that. I don't think that's too bad. I think that can stay like that. All right. Yes, it's going to stay like that. And let's just get a bit... someone at the doorbell. Well, they say how to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Anyway, so as I was doing all of getting ready for the next part of the card, the doorbell rang and guests arrived. And so between all of that, what I had to do was keep moving because I've got to get this finished. And so what I've done is I've assembled the various elements and panels onto the card. I'm just getting that to dry now. So effectively and you know, in my haste to get that on there, I've forgotten to do this. I'm missing the panel board for this. So what I'm going to do is off air, I'm going to cut that to size and slide that under there so that fits. But in all, that's the card. I'll leave the pins there now that I've got that. I was going to take those off before you arrived, before I came back. But what I will do, the last part of it, is just going to be add the sentiment. And with the sentiment, it's a very simple one. Happy birthday, heartfelt nonetheless. And I'm just going to give it a bit of a signature curl. And I'll attach that with some dimensionals. And I'm kind of having a bit of an affair with these dragonflies. So they're going to feature on there as well. And in the last couple of minutes, I can commit to this. I'm just going to let you know what I'm doing on the next video. Now, the next video will focus on poppies. No, it won't. It will focus on tulips. And I released a series of tulips just recently. And I've only got one of them left here that I can show you. But let me just place this on here. Like so. And I'm going to add a couple of dragonflies to the mix. And I think, well, I hope my dear friend enjoys her card. And it will finish looking like this. I think one there. Okay. So apart from that little end piece behind the card will sit nicely like this on display. It won't need to sit flat because I think then it gets to show off the various elements. And there it is. So my question to you is this. If this is the hills of Tuscany, do they really grow liliums in Tuscany? I suppose they do. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly hope you've learned something. And I, most importantly, hope to see you next time on Michael's Card Art when we look at the poppies, the tulips that I created in that last series. And we're going to look at 3 techniques to create cards, replicate the cards like this. And I hope to see you for that on the next time at Michael's Card Art. Take care.